For some of us, a checklist gets us through the day, but the same can be said about getting to and through retirement. So to make that process a little bit easier, joining me now is Mike Douglas, the president of LifePlan Financial Design, a Lansing area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful retirement. And Mike is also a popular podcast host. How are you, Mike?
Doing great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, first off, are you a checklist kind of person?
I'm an obsessive checklist person. It drives my wife crazy, but I make a list for everything. If we go to the grocery store, I have a list. If we go on vacation, I build itineraries. If we do anything, I make lists for it because it helps keep my mind just in order.
Focus. And then I'm the same way, so I feel good knowing that I cross something off, I can erase it too.
Yes.
Well, why should people have a retirement checklist?
Because retirement is too important to forget something, right? We've all done that thing where you go to the grocery store and you walk out because you stopped in to get something and you didn't get everything on your list, but you don't remember that until you get home because you didn't make a list.
That's right.
So you get home and you go, how did I forget that one thing? Well, if you had a piece of paper in front of you or an app, you would have gone down the list and not left the store till you got everything.
Right.
That's with groceries. Imagine in retirement now, you go through and you've worked all these years and saved and done everything right, but when it comes time to retire and live off the money, you forgot something off the list. So you need a list of things that say, if I check off this, I've covered it. If I checked off this, where we're not filling a cart, really, instead we're just filling our life with experiences after that based on fulfilling our checklist.
That's right. Well, that's also one of the reasons why I can't go to Target without a list.
That's right. That's right. Impulse buys.
Exactly. Well, why don't we start building that checklist? What needs to be on it?
The start of it is income. You have to calculate how you're going to get your income because there's a great quote that says, without income, you're not retired. You got to go back to work. So as a result, you have to know where your income's coming from and the consequences of that. There are different ways of getting income in retirement, and everything comes with pros and cons. You just need to calculate it and make sure that the things that you're using for income aren't going to come crashing down because the market corrects or because taxes shift. So that's part of it. Building your income first, that's the priority. Everything else kind of falls in place after that.
Okay, and so speaking on that income planning, why is that also at the top of the checklist?
Income planning is the top because after that, you can account for things. If I know where my paycheck comes from, then I can build my fund money. I can build my vacation planning. I can build my new kitchen that we're going to need to put in, or the trips we've been always dreaming of, or inheritances and legacy pieces to our kids and grandkids. All that comes after you satisfy how you cover your lifestyle. If you've covered that, everything else falls into place.
Okay. Well, if someone has Social Security or a pension, is that typically enough income then?
Well, for most Americans, actually 60% of Americans live exclusively on Social Security.
Wow.
And then if you have a Social Security and a pension, that gives you a really solid foundation. Although a lot of pensions are disappearing, I think the number now is less than 8% of people will retire with a lifetime pension. In 1980, that number was 37% of people.
Wow.
So pensions are disappearing. Social Security on their own website says that without major reform, they're going to be cutting all benefits by up to 25% in 15 years. So that's on their own website. And so we know that pensions are disappearing. Social Security is most likely not going to pay out all it's promised. And so as a result, we need to use other tools in our tool belt to round out things, other lists on our items on our checklist, right? If we just have the income, then we also need to figure out how do I deal with all these other pieces in case Social Security doesn't pay out everything.
That's great. That's so important to know, especially in 15 years, that's going to be me in that situation. Well, what kind of difference can tax planning make?
Well, and tax planning can really be the foundation of your future money, right?
Okay.
When we know how we're taxed, when we know the effects of distributions, because when we're taking money out of our accounts in retirement, if I pull from an IRA, it's taxed differently than if I pull from my non-qualified accounts or a Roth account. And some people are saying, non-qualified Roth, that's all a different language. Well, those are just different tools on your, different items on your checklist, different things we can use to get investment money to become income. So as you're building out the tax strategy, it's saying not only when I pay taxes and what am I going to pay, but what are the consequences of pulling from different types of accounts for our life? If I draw from here, is it taxed differently than if I draw from there?
Awesome. Now, why is it important, Mike, to make sure that we're avoiding big losses as we approach retirement?
Well, Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, he has a lot of great quotes in life, but he basically has two rules for investing. Number one, don't lose money. And number two, don't forget rule number one. So his whole model is do not lose money, do not allow yourself to fall out, and don't take from a depreciating asset. So if your money is losing, you shouldn't be pulling income from it. And if you do, you're faster dropping your accounts. If I'm down 10% and I pull 4% to live off of, I'm down 14. And then, so that's one of those things where if you're pulling from something that's losing money, it's expediting the losses. So we want to make sure we're very aware of that.
So Mike, you've given us so much information, a lot for us to get ready and think about right now. But for you at home, if you want to learn more about putting your retirement checklist together, Mike has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with savings of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. And this will allow Mike and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with the roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement and a game plan where you need to be. So the number to call is 517-200-3330. Again, that number is 517-200-3330. Thank you so much, Mike.
Mm-hmm.